Welcome to the Shape Up Summit. I'm your host, Ronnie Tsunami Gandiza, the CEO of the Plant-Based Network. Today, we have with us a very special friend of mine, Ruth Wishengrad. Ruth, a popular creative children's singer/songwriter, incorporates neuroscience techniques into her songs to boost self-confidence. Ruth has a master's in education and has been teaching, training, and mentoring individuals for over 25 years. She believes the biggest challenge children face is clearly and effectively expressing their thoughts and feelings. She has developed a program, Self-Talk Songs, to teach children meaningful tools to build strong self-esteem through fun, infectious melodies, rhythms, and movements. Ruth brings creativity, humor, and fun to everyday situations and connects with children at a heart-to-heart level. Ruth is a resident of Santa Barbara, California, was invited as a speaker on the worldwide collaboration in art therapy panel at the Creative Arts Therapy Conference in Beijing, China in August 2015. Ruth presented on the practical application of using music and movement to help children with special needs and autism focus and increase their self-confidence and self-esteem. Ruth was also an invited presenter at the International Conference on Art Therapy, a world of healing arts without strangers, that was held in Hong Kong in May 2016. In the workshop, participants learned a proven step-by-step creative and highly effective approach to support children in their social and emotional growth. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank you, Ronnie. So happy to be here.
You know, I'm a big fan of yours. My grandchildren listen to your songs, and my granddaughter, Aaliyah, absolutely loves it. And I know she's become more self-confident and assertive because she's clearly telling me exactly how she feels and what she wants.
There you go. Perfect.
Perfect. Mission accomplished. Now,
there you go.
Your programs have been impacting people all around the world. And I know they actually impact both children and adults across the ages. And you've got to have some great stories, because I know two big stories, one with a 6-month-old and one with a 90-year-old. Can you share those stories with us?
I would love to. So some friends of mine had a 6-month-old, and they were telling me the story that their 6-month-old would cry when she was left alone in the back seat while they were in the front seat together. And they were just going out of their minds. They wanted to train her to say, no, it's okay for the parents to be in the front seat and her to be in the back seat by herself. And they figured out what worked. They would put my CD, back when we had CDs in the car, they would put my CD into the player, and literally the child would stop crying right away. It was like almost immediate. What they also told me was that they relaxed and they were able to start singing the songs and their energy relaxed. So think about this. If you're in a room with somebody who's tense and anxious, what happens?
You get tense too. You feel it.
Right. So there's that energetic thing that was going on between the parents being tense that the child was crying, and the child was crying maybe because the parents were tense. Who knows, right? It's not like it was something that you could help. So by putting the CD in and they were able to relax and start singing, she relaxed and they had lovely car rides.
Perfect. Every parent
Every parent wants to know that,
wants this song. You know they're going to buy your CD right now.
There you go. Exactly. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, my 90-year-old friend was telling me a story about how she loved my songs. She would dance with me. I had a DVD that she would listen to, and she would dance and sing every morning for 2 months. And then I got a text from her that said, "Have I got a story for you?" And she said, "Come meet me at the rehab center. I had fallen and broken my hip." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I go and visit her at the rehab center, and she says, "Take out your phone and record this, because I think you'll want to have this." So she's telling me the story I'm hearing it for the very first time. And she said she had gotten up in the middle of the night and when she went back to bed, she missed the bed. And when she fell, she could hear her hip crack. And she was like, oh no, I'm done. She was in excruciating pain. The phone was 6.5 feet away. It felt like 10 miles. And she said she just sunk and said, oh, well, I just saw the kids earlier tonight, and she was going to give up. And then she heard me singing the song in her head. And to the rhythm of my voice, the beat of the music, she was able to move herself an inch. And then she stopped and rested. And then the music came back again. Inch by inch by inch. It took her 2 hours, Ronnie, and she made it to her phone. She was amazed, but she said to me, without a shadow of a doubt, she knew during this whole process she was going to make it to the phone. She was singing the song, she was hearing the song over and over again, and she just knew. And 4 months later, not only was she walking again, she was also driving her car.
Wow.
I know. And then it was just this amazing thing. And she said it was the shifting of of her mindset in a lot of ways. And I bet you're wondering, what was the song that she was singing? The song she was singing was Confidence. I am confident. And it absolutely changed her whole feeling around confidence about who she was. I mean, this is a woman who's almost 90 years old, and she had difficulties like speaking up for herself and telling people, not in a mean way, but just, saying, no, this is how I feel. And she said she had a whole new relationship within herself about her own self-confidence. And this shifted after 2 hours of hearing the song.
Wow.
So
that's another big push. I mean, when you talk about the 6-month-old and 90 and everyone else in between, because parents too,
right.
I've talked about the impact of song and movement and rhythm and everything that you put into it. It's just so it's interesting that it applies to all ages. Like the same techniques can apply.
Right. Well,
universally.
the way I kind of understood it is we all have an inner child, and that inner child is hearing this as a fun, playful, and it's non-threatening. It's these songs that are repeating these positive messages in a non-threatening way that is like getting into the brain, it's getting into the body, it's feeling fun, it's unimposing, it's not critical, it's just fun. And that's how it can shift and give you the tools. I mean, I had a parent who once said to me, why is it when I listen to these songs and I start crying when I watch my kids listening to the songs? Is it because they're so beautiful and I'm seeing how it's affecting them? I said, yes. And your inner child needs to hear those messages. And because you're hearing those messages in a different way, that's why it's affecting you. So she thought about it and she came back to me a couple of days later and went, you're right.
Well, let's go into it. Share, these stories. Share your 5 fun, highly effective ways to build self-confidence.
Number 1 is self-talk. How you talk to yourself matters. We need to be that inner cheerleader and encourage ourselves. So think about this. According to the Wall Street Journal, self-talk, when talking to yourself, the way you do it makes a difference. Did you know that if you talk to yourself in the second or third person, it actually changes how you relate to the message? So if you're feeling frustrated about something, what's one of your self-talk inner talks that you would say to yourself?
I can't do it. It's too
Right.
tough.
Right. So what if you change that we're going to flip that anyway. We're not going to say I can't. So what if you say I can do it to yourself now? How does that feel? Even though you've just said I can't do this, and then you're going to switch it to I can do it. Do you believe yourself right away?
No, there's always that self-doubt.
Right. So what if you said, you talk to yourself in the second or third person instead? Try that. Everybody try that in your head right now. You can do it. You can do it. Ruth, I know you can do it. What does that feel like in your head? How does that feel? Does that change?
Oh, big time. And I never really thought about that because I've heard other people talk to themselves in the third person, like, or second or third person, where you can do this, you got this, you got this, you got this. And I never really thought about saying it in that second or third person because I would tend to say myself, I can do this, I got it, I got it, I got it. But now that you talk about it, and now that I'm thinking about it in this other way, it does actually give me a bit more of confidence.
Yeah, because you're being more objective. It's like somebody outside of you is telling you as opposed to you telling you. Because we don't always trust ourselves because we try new things and we fail, and that's okay. But sometimes that it can feel critical without really meaning to. Right?
Right.
So the self-talk, how you talk to yourself matters, and shifting that to a way to kind of ease yourself into being your own inner cheerleader again is the number one way. And what's really important is kids don't necessarily know that they've got that opportunity. Carol Dweck is a renowned psychologist from Stanford University, and she did research around mindset, that there are two different kinds of mindset. A fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Well, fixed is fixed. We feel like we were born that way and it's unchangeable. However, a growth mindset believes that through consistent work and dedication, we can actually change things. We can change the way we feel about things. We can actually grow from that experience. So one of the things, even in the grading, like when teachers grade students, she changed the grading system to not be A through F, F being failure, right? She changed it to yet versus not yet. And how does that feel?
Well, that's stressful.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I didn't get there yet, And if you say to yourself, I'm really frustrated, I can't do this, maybe you could say, I can't do this yet. And what does that feel like? That gives you that encouragement, and you're building on that growth, and you're able to step by step by step bring yourself back to feeling like you have the ability within yourself to change how you're feeling.
Right. It takes the pressure off, and it also takes the guilt off.
Right.
The way you
Right.
think, because you don't want to be thought of as a quitter, or something.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. So I did not really think about self-talk and understanding the way you say it.
Right. So that's the self-talk. Number 2 is body language. Did you know your body doesn't know the difference between a fake smile and a real smile?
Really? Really?
Really. And your body also doesn't know the difference between fake laughter and real laughter. So once you start doing the fake laughter and you start, after a while, it'll turn, especially if you're connecting with somebody else, that fake laughter will actually turn into real laughter, and your body doesn't know the difference. It can boost up your self-esteem. It can boost up your energy and your endorphins and all of that kind of stuff. And that actually can shift how you're feeling. Now, I know people will say, oh my gosh, yeah, we have negative stuff that happens. And we don't want to just kind of erase the negative, because there's actually, when we're thinking negative thoughts, there are some lessons that are coming from that, right? Or if we're hurt or if we're afraid, that's why I say at the bottom there, it says, when you feel it in your body, you feel it in your life. So you're feeling those emotions, you're feeling that angst, that sadness, whatever, and it's okay. And the other thing that I like to say is you have to feel it to heal it. We don't want to just erase it. We want to let it kind of go through us and wash through us, kind of like a wave. If you're sitting on the sand and the wave kind of comes through you, it comes through and passes through, and then it goes away. It comes in and it flushes out, right? So you want to feel it to heal it. And then once you've been able to kind of relax from that, then you can shift. Have you ever had to use fake smiles to help you through a situation? Tell
Oh,
me a story about that.
definitely. Well, they call me the smiling Hawaiian. So I'm always performing. And when you sing or perform, you don't want to let the audience know if you're not feeling good. You have to smile through it, if you will,
Right.
regardless of the situation. And now that I think about it, though, yeah, smiling does help me get through things, even when I'm nervous or even angry. Sometimes before something happens, but I'll
Yeah,
smile and try to smile through the anger so the audience doesn't recognize it. So yeah, that's how I deal with it.
exactly, exactly. And now there's this thing called a power pose. Okay. And this woman, Amy Jo Cuddy, is an American social psychologist, and she's known for her research on nonverbal behavior. She did a TED talk that had over 5 million views. I think it was back in 2012. And she says that body language not only affects how others perceive you, it also affects your own feelings of confidence and power. So if you are nervous about something, or pretty much you're nervous about something, and you know that you're anxious and like, oh my gosh, am I going to do this right? Is it going to be? If you actually get into a power confident pose for 30 to 60 seconds before you're about to do this thing, as she actually calls it, the victory stance. So you could do it this way. You could, I've also found that, just a confident, whatever confidence looks like, it feels like in your body, that's what you want to do. And it actually helps. So get into your confidence pose and feel how that changes the next time before you're about to do something that might be a little nerve-wracking. Number 3 is music. Make it fun. Music creates a repetitive loop of positive messaging using rhythmic beats and melody. The brain processes music differently than the spoken word. The more the songs and concepts repeat almost behind the scenes, the concepts will be more readily available to be accessed when they're needed. Have you ever gotten a song stuck in your head?
Countless times. My granddaughter had picked up an elf song or some type of elf app, and it plays dreidel dreidel. And for the rest of the day, just today, definitely not during dreidel season, I was singing dreidel dreidel the whole day.
Right. Well, okay. So what if you could get a song stuck in your head that not only helped you, but helped everybody around you? Would you be game for that?
Yes.
So basically, taking a positive message, something you want to hear, and taking that and making that be that repetitive loop, you can actually create your own song. Or I have songs that basically that's what they do. So that's the kind of the theory and the philosophy behind this. Get a song that you want to hear stuck in your head. So let me tell you a little story. For years and years and years, I have gotten other people's songs stuck in my head. I'll wake up in the middle of the night with this song that I won't even know the whole lyric of the song. And I would end up singing this song, like this portion of a song, in my head, and it would wake me up and I couldn't fall back asleep. It finally took me a few years to figure out, oh, well, why don't you just write that lyric down? because what was happening was my brain was saying, you got to remember this so that when you finally wake up, you can figure out this message. So I finally thought, okay, I'm going to write this lyric down. And I wrote it down, and then I would fall right back asleep. The next morning, I would wake up and I would find that lyric. And I would then, sometimes I'd have to Google. I mean, these were songs that I knew, but they were songs, way back in my, memory, that I didn't know all of the lyrics to the song. So I would go and I would Google the lyric. And I kid you not, 99% of the time, it was a song it was a message that I needed to hear. And it was helping me in a way that I didn't even know. And it would resonate and be like, that's the answer I'm kind of looking for. So when this was going on over and over and over again, I kind of said, what if I could get my own things stuck in my head that would help me with certain things, right? So I was transitioning. I was leaving Massachusetts and moving to California. And boy, did the songs start going like crazy, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? All that kind of stuff, right? So I thought, well, what if I did something to help encourage me, right? Self-talk was the first one that we talked about, needing something to encourage me. And so that's what I did. I started to like sing songs or sing phrases that would help me. So one of the songs that kind of came through me during this whole transition and process was about feeling I can do it. Do you remember the children's book, The Little Engine That Could? Right. So that has always played a big part in my life. So one of the songs that kind of came through me during this whole transition and process was about feeling I can do it. Do you remember the children's book, The Little Engine That Could? Right. So that has always played a big part in my life. However, what happened was this I can do it kind of a feeling came through me, and it turned into a song. Like I said, there are stories that will show that I was struggling with having to run and do all those things, and it became my encouragement to have people screaming at me, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And then that song ended up coming through me, and I was like, oh, I can do it. So this song showed up, and I was like, oh. And then I kind of felt like, well, sometimes I believe that I can do it, and sometimes I don't. And one of the things that I felt like I needed was I needed confidence first. So that's why these songs tend to actually have a foundation, and they build upon each other. So the song I Am Confident came through, and that one I felt was more important for me to sing that first, because if I had a foundation of confidence, then I would believe myself that I can do it.
Right. Makes perfect sense.
Okay. Right? Okay, number 4 is movement. Research shows that repetitive movement while crossing the center line helps balance the brain. So did you know that I am actually helping balance your brain because I'm crossing my hands across the center line? Did you know that?
No.
It is. So that cross action is actually helping balance your brain. What the practice of crossing and balancing, it helps actually create new neural pathways in your brain that helps anchor the messages deeper into your body. And movement has been known to increase concentration, focus, memory, physical coordination, and attitude. So we can literally dance our way to feeling better.
I always just figured it was the blood flow. You're getting more oxygen, you're moving, but I never really thought about the brain and movement and the impact of movement, on my emotional, state.
So we talked about that I worked with kids as young as 6 months old to 90. Well, I also worked with a whole population of people, seniors who had Parkinson's disease, and they had balance issues. So we would do chair exercises with them, and we did a lot of crossing the center line. And I will tell you that they, not only did they feel better, but I had one guy actually say to me, I look forward to Tuesdays all week long. And I said, oh, why is that? He said, because after all of this exercise, I can sleep better. And I was like, oh, well, that's wonderful. And I said, and then I went and talked to the other people in the program. And I said, we need to do this more than once a week, because if this man only sleeps on Tuesday nights, we need to make sure that they're doing this more and more and more. And that actually started happening. We started doing it 2 or 3 times a week, so that and then the woman who ran the program actually created a video so that they could do it at home as well as in class. So we can literally dance our way to feeling better. Did you know that the word emotions can be broken down and it's emotion, energy in motion? Have you ever thought of it that way?
No, but now I will.
So emotions are the experience of energy moving through your body. The feeling in the body can be contracted or tight, frustrated, stressed, or it can be expanded and open, calm, peaceful, happy. Barbara Fredrickson, a PhD, describes that this as an upward and a downward spiral effect of emotion. Upward matches with the positive feelings, joy and happiness, and downward is the contracted or negative feelings such as frustration, stress, and fear. So it's really interesting when you stop and you kind of look at that and you kind of go, oh, so when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling anxious, you're contracted. And like I had said earlier, you want to feel it to heal it. And then once you do that, then you can say, okay, let's shift it to the other way. And then you can bring yourself back up the spiral. And number 5 is a meditative mantra. So we're going to bring it inside. So in the program, we do all of this music and movement and dancing and fun, upbeat music. And at the end, I teach children to bring that feeling of all that juicy energy, bring it inside. And the meditations in the program provide children with a tool to translate that high energy into a steady rhythmic beat where they learn to bring that message inside their body. So it's like that self-talk, but now it's the energy that's kind of coming in, and it becomes this repetitive beat, which can be compared to your heartbeat, so that you can internalize those messages at a deep level. And just like your heartbeat, it's always there.
I never thought about meditation that way. I mean, it's interesting because I meditate a lot, but in terms of internalizing a specific message during the meditation, it is what I do, but I just never thought about it connected to the heartbeat of myself.
Right.
And thinking of the heartbeat as a steady rhythmic beat, helping to basically root the message.
Yeah. So what the meditations do is they translate the message into a different way, because we all hear things and experience things differently. And I think the most important thing is for kids to have these different tools to get out of their tool belt, so that they have these different tools that they can hear it in a different way and go, oh. So one of the songs is actually called Time Out. And I worked with a group of second graders, and I actually wasn't going to share the song Time Out with them, because I didn't, we were going to do confidence and I could do it, and we had limited time. And they happened to see the DVD, and on the DVD was the song Time Out. And the next time I came into the classroom, they were they were like, oh my God, we need to talk to you about this. What is that song? Because the teacher wouldn't share it with them until I was there. And one kid in particular said to me, he goes, why would you sing a song about timeout? Timeout's a punishment. Why would you do that? I don't understand. So we had a long discussion, and that's what I love about the fact that, this age group, a lot of people think that this is, because they're kid-like fun songs, it's for young kids, and it is, but the older ones can start to develop some understanding around it. And so we really kind of took apart what is a timeout? What does it mean? And is it a punishment? Why do you think you're actually being put in timeout? And can timeout be something different? And so that's what this is all about. It's repatterning what a timeout really is about, so that you can be in your own joy and you have a chance. Your emotions are saying something, they're talking, and that's why you're reacting in different ways. And I also talk about reaction versus response in the program. There's a difference between reacting to something or stopping, slowing down, and responding to something. Can you feel that? The difference in that, just those two words? I'm going to react or I'm going to respond. So that's basically what the program does. It has all of these different levels and layers, and it's making it fun so that you can actually feel it again and understand what it's all about. Making it fun through music and movement and feeling it in the body.
I'm kind of shocked because I learned something from myself. I know self-talk songs was developed initially for kids, and I know it impacts people of all ages. But for me personally, and Ruth, you and I are no strangers to each other. We've worked with each other, but still, in you going through this presentation, I started to think about myself, and even for me, where I'm a pretty confident person at times, where quite frankly, I never really lack a lot of my confidence. If anything, I'm too overconfident, I would say. But these techniques can really be applied for myself and for people of all ages, no matter your training. These are techniques that will work for anybody, but it's just curious as far as how impactful it is for kids, because often we think kids, especially younger kids, right, at that first grade or earlier, are maybe not cognizant of things going around, right, or what's being said and understanding. But yet you really, story after story, you have kids, from 6 months on, actually responding to these techniques.
Right. Well, I actually think I've always been a firm believer that, yes, it's great for the classroom. I think it's also great for parents to do this program with their children, because, like you just said, you learned things in this that you didn't even know, that you feel like that's going to help you in day-to-day situations. And when the parent is learning this with the child, and the teacher is learning it with the child as well, they're able to come at things in a different way, and they're able to experience things together and grow from that. So that's that growth mindset thing. And you end up having this common language, and the common language becomes these songs that that can actually shift you out of feeling like stressed. Like if a kid goes, no, I can't. Well, the parent can then go, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. I think you can. I know you can. So that becomes totally fun. And then they remember, oh, we were singing and dancing to this song. Yeah, that's fun. And it shifts. And that's what I call the magic.
Ruth, can we show them a bit of a taste of
Yes.
what it's all about? Is that all right?
I would love to.
Self-Talk Songs is a fun, positive program designed to teach children meaningful tools to build self-confidence and self-esteem.
It's a wonderful thing, it's a marvelous fact. Confidence is who I am. From the top of my head down to my toes. Confidence is who I am.
When children get distracted, antsy, unfocused, or down on themselves, there are elements in this program that can help you help them. When children sing, dance, and move their bodies, they're balancing their brains so that they can refocus their attention and concentration.
Confidence in everything I set my mind to. Confidence in everything I set my mind to.
If you want to help kids build self-confidence, self-respect, and self-esteem, I invite you to learn more about Self-Talk Songs.
That was absolutely inspiring. I love seeing kids get together, smile, and you could see they were really having fun doing the movements and essentially connecting with each other, being confident.
Yeah, it's really fun. And that's the joy. That's seeing kids connecting, eye contact, being in their bodies, enjoying, exercising, laughing, giggling. That's the magic.
Ruth, how can people learn more about Self-Talk Songs?
Selftalksongs.com.
So your new program, I understand, is coming out, and you've got, let's just say, some fans already out there with kids and parents and educators. And correct me if I'm wrong, but your program is also built for schools, right? You have not just, and you have homeschools, and then you have your traditional schools already doing this program.
That's right.
Oh, all right, everyone, check it out. Self-Talk Songs. And Ruth, if you don't mind, I know people may have questions. How can people get a hold of you?
Ruth at selftalksongs.com.
There you go. Thank you so much for being part of the Shape Up Summit. I know everyone's itching to try those techniques, not just for the kids, but I know I'm actually going to be doing some of these techniques myself. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.